Chapter 7. In 1920, Rocer Batton's first child was born. But there was one thing that nobody talked about. The baby's grandfather was a small 10-year-old who played around the house. He was a little boy who loved his toy soldiers. No one was paying attention to the little boy. He had a fresh, happy face, with eyes that were sometimes a little sad. But to Rocer Batton his presence was a source of torment. It seemed to him that his father, in refusing to look 60. Like Hildeqard, Rocer didn't think it was fair. To think about the matter for as much as a half an hour drove him to the edge of insanity. "It's good for older people to stay young," he said. "But this is too much." 5 years later Rocer's little boy had grown old enough to play childish games with little Benjamin under the supervision of the same nurse. Rocer took them both to kindergarten on the same day. Here, Benjamin discovered how much he enjoyed playing with little pieces of colored paper. He also made things from old boxes, and he drew pictures. But this time, he didn't hate these activities. And he wasn't bored. Once he was bad, and had to stand in the corner, and then he cried. But most days were happy. He loved the time that he spent there. His teacher, Miss Bailey, was kind to him, and he loved her, too. Rocer's son moved into the next class after a year, but Benjamin stayed in the kindergarten. Sometimes other tots talked about what they would do when they grew up. Benjamin never joined in these conversations, and his little face became sad. Maybe he realized that his future was different. In his 3rd year of kindergarten, Benjamin was too little to understand much. He didn't know what to do with the pieces of colored paper. He cried because the other boys were bigger. He was afraid of them. The teacher talked to him, but he didn't understand her. He was taken out of the kindergarten. His nurse, Nana, became the center of his tiny world. On bright days, they walked to the park. Nana would point at a great gray monster and say, "Elephant," and Benjamin would say it after her. And when he was being undressed for bed that night he would say it over and over aloud to her. "Elephant, elephant, elephant." Sometimes Benjamin jumped on his bed, and this was fun. He jumped until he was tired. Sometimes he took a stick from the yard and went around the house with it. He hit the chairs and tables and shouted, "Fight, fight, fight!" when there were visitors. The older ladies always wanted to talk to him. The young ladies would try to kiss him, which he submitted to with mild boredom. And when the long day ended at 5 o'clock, he would go upstairs with Nana. There, she fed him oatmeal and soft mushy foods with a spoon. There were no troublesome memories in his child's sleep. Benjamin didn't remember his brave college days, or the many beautiful girls from his past. There were only the white, safe walls of his crib and Nana, and a man who visited him sometimes. There were no dreams in his head, and nothing to worry him. The past wasn't in his head now. He didn't remember his days as a soldier, or the first years of his marriage. He forgot about Hildeqard, and his work at the family business. All these had faded like unsubstantial dreams from his mind as though they had never been. He did not remember clearly whether the milk was warm or cool at his last feeding or how the days passed. There was only the crib, and Nana. And then he remembered nothing at all. When he was hungry, he cried, that was all. There were sounds and faintly differentiated smells. and light and darkness, and nothing more. Then it was all dark. The crib, the faces above him, and the sweet smell of milk disappeared completely from his mind.